Alrighty then, back once again for another reaction. This time it's another death battle as part of my death battle catch-up. This time around we have Mewtwo versus Shadow. Obviously I'm into both franchises of these. They are some of the more well-known things that I was actually on board with. I mean that more in Sonic's direction, since I'm sure by now people know that I'm a big Pokemon fan. I got Pokemon Sun for Christmas, and while I have admittedly yet to start doing it, I've been doing other stuff on the computer, so yeah, a bit distracted, but I love Pokemon, alright. It was one of my cornerstone childhood shows growing up, one of my first dubbed anime before I even knew what anime was. I thought it was all just cartoons on the Cartoon Channel. Yeah. I just thought the golfing quality is just between different cartoons. I didn't think it was because it was from a whole other country, so... and I've played a good majority of the Sonic games, except for post-2006, when I just kind of fell out of love and lost interest, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. I did play Generations, though. I had decent fun with that. Yeah, I might look into getting that Sonic that was previewed in the last year just gone. You know, that free roam trick sort of thing, including going sort of back to how classic Sonic used to be for that other game. If that's the direction they're going, I might be interested in getting Sonic games again. But yeah, Shadow, I remember him being introduced in the Sonic Adventure games, which were probably my favourite Sonic games. I mean, the classics are what they are, the new games are what they are. There's strengths and weaknesses to both. Obviously, very heavy lean towards the classics being the best. But I really liked the balance that the Sonic Adventure games struck. I did have the most fun with them. And to me, fun is paramount when playing a game. So I loved the Sonic Adventure series, even if I never beat them. I had to watch on YouTube to see how the storylines went. I thought Shadow was alright. I also remember watching the Sonic X anime when it was dubbed over here. Of course, back then, Sonic X cartoon. And really liking the story to that, even though I'm sure they butchered it. You know, I think it was 4 kids doing it. Yeah, it was 4 kids, yeah. I still really enjoyed it and Shadow's role that he played in it. So, I want to get one obvious prediction out of the way for this. It's related to Pokemon as well. I'm going to come out and say it. I've been wanting to say that Shadow should automatically win for being a dark type against a psychic type. That's literally all it should take. Mewtwo's psychic moves are not very effective. That was lame and so not worth it. Let's just get into this. I do think that Mewtwo is going to wipe the floor with Shadow, just because he's that OP of a Pokemon.
In Death Battle, our combatants are always extraordinary in one way or another, whether they're a superhero or a plumber.
I'm glad that you included Rainbow Dash in that.
Built to show up the rest of their kind. Mewtwo, the genetically engineered Pokemon.
Yeah.
And Shadow the Hedgehog.
His movies were pretty awesome.
He's whiz and I'm
A bit weak in the
boomstick.
plot,
It's
but
our job
Mewtwo
to
himself
analyze our
made them
weapons,
good.
armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Oh, another sprite battle.
Years ago, a brilliant scientist named Dr. Fuji was working to create a brand new life form which would change the world.
That's great enough.
For the worse.
He had something else in mind.
Fuji hoped his experiments would help him discover a way to resurrect the person he cherished most, his deceased daughter, Amber.
With unlimited resources,
Right, I didn't
funded
quite
by
remember
mob
that
money,
bit.
He figured out how to clone his daughter's ball of consciousness. Because science.
But
Yeah.
before he could finish, he had to
Cave
create
Johnson
the most
would be your
powerful
friend.
Pokemon, a clone of the legendary Mew.
And he named him Mewtwo.
Original.
Yeah, Fuji wasn't very creative when it comes to naming, but when you can create a new life form with nothing but a fossilized eyelash, you know you're a master of genetic
Yeah, you're
engineering.
entitled
Field,
to cut
I'd
some
love to get more
corners.
experience in myself.
Told you 1,000 times, Wiz. You're not gonna alter my DNA.
what are you talking about? I would never do that.
Always watching, Wiz. Always.
That
Growing up in a
seems
test tube,
oddly
Mewtwo's
suggestive.
only companions were Fuji's other test subjects, including
The
Amber
imagery.
herself through some sort of psychic link.
Amber taught Mewtwo about the sun, the moon, tears, and, life stuff. Oh, and also death when she died for good right in front of him.
Wow.
Worrying this may be too mentally traumatic for the still infant Mewtwo, Dr. Fuji's team erased all memory of her. Unfortunately, this left Mewtwo with a feeling of loss and confusion, and no memories to explain.
Wow, so that's how they
Little
messed
to
it
do,
up.
Mewtwo decided to take out all his aggression on all
I
of
thought he
humanity.
just woke
Then he
up and was
turned some
angry,
stupid kid into stone,
which
a bunch of
showed
Pokemon cried,
which shows
and
how
Mewtwo
crap
figured
my
out humans
memory is
aren't
of
so
this
bad
movie.
after all.
Mewtwo is one of the most powerful psychic-type Pokemon, defeating its foes with the power of its mind.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You keep calling
He's
him
pretty
it.
OP.
Is Mewtwo a guy or a girl?
Well, neither. Technically, it's genderless.
Oh. How does it bang?
It doesn't.
Bummer.
It's a single
One
life
thing's
form.
for sure, it's
There are
got
no male and
balls
females.
of ghost energy that blow holes in stadiums. Had an onslaught of undodgeable stars, multiple types of defensive shields, and a healing ability for when those shields don't quite cut it.
Alongside its other abilities, Mewtwo's favorite move is Psychic, a powerful form of telekinesis. With it, Mewtwo can effortlessly send enemies as heavy as a 500-pound Onyx flying through the air.
He can even make himself fly like a Zubat out of hell.
Also, it
Nice
can
meat
augment
little
its melee
reference.
combat with psychic energy or occasionally a massive spoon.
The manga is
Say
awesome.
He sometimes spoons his enemies.
No, nothing about Mewtwo is cuddly, especially when it uses Hyper Beam or Psy Strength. Attacks so
Isn't that
strong they
neck
can
tendon a
incapacitate the
weakness?
toughest of Pokemon in a single hit.
And when trouble comes a-knocking, Mewtwo answers the door with a badass Mega Evolution.
Mewtwo
Oh,
is one
right.
of the few Pokemon capable of Mega Evolving without the assistance of a trainer. As Mega Mewtwo Y, it gains enormous boosts in strength, defense, and speed.
I remember
Making
people
Mewtwo
saying,
powerful enough to fly
Mewtwo,
into
why
space
did it deserve
while
a Mega
carrying
Evolution?
robot bug monster.
It's already
Fast enough
strong.
to reach escape velocity over 25,000 miles per hour, over 32 times the speed of sound.
Wow.
So, really, really fast.
Mewtwo is so skilled in its psychic prowess.
Oh, I
it can
love
wipe
the
specific
Pokemon
memories from
soundtrack.
Dozens of people at once.
On top of all that, it can survive a massive amount of abuse. Like the time it got double impaled by an alien Pokemon's tentacles. Shouldn't they censor that?
This is the best thing about Death Battle. They can pull feats from all sources to make them the best they can be.
Entire crater lake from the top of Mount Cana. This lake is comparable to a similar body of water in the real world, Lake Kilauea,
Okay.
which holds over 385 million tons of water.
Damn.
Wow, that's almost enough power to lift my ex-wife on buffet day.
Being a
I'm sure you
psychic
made an
Pokemon,
ex-wife,
Mewtwo is naturally
ex-girlfriend
weak to
joke
ghost
in
energy.
Bowser vs. Ganon.
Strange Dr. Fuji didn't pull that code out of his DNA, but whatever.
Hey, you gotta have some sort of failsafe when you're making the world's most powerful Pokemon.
Ah, yes, the ultimate failsafe against the most powerful psychic Pokemon. Bugs!
Oh, God, it's a Caterpie!
The horror!
Hey, it's spooky!
I was not born a Pokemon, I was created.
Mm-hmm.
And my creators have used and betrayed me. So, I stand alone.
Now, I think it says something that I'd be hyped for a Mewtwo versus Vegeta battle.
Years
and
ago, a brilliant
Vegeta
scientist
killed
named
Shadow,
Professor
so
Gerald Robotnik, the grandfather of Sonic's forever balding nemesis,
I don't
worked
have
to
much
create
hope
a
for
new
Shadow,
life form which
but
would
we'll see.
change the world.
It was called Project Shadow.
He might have had
a
something
covert
new added to
government
him in
operation
recent
to
years.
discover the secret to immortality. Besides, like diet and exercise. Fuck that.
In Professor Gerald's case, specifically for his granddaughter Maria, who was dying as a result of neuroimmune deficiency syndrome.
But both
Now
of
that I
these
think about
characters
it,
are
Project
involved with
Shadow
a
is
dying
pretty
child.
scary name for a program that's all about curing diseases and saving humanity.
Maybe it has something to do with the program's secret pact with a hive mind alien race called the Black Arms. Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Okay. So what do you get when you take immortality, the cure of all
Hey,
diseases, aliens,
Powerpuff
and
Girls.
put them all together to make the ultimate life form? You get a hedgehog.
Yeah, of
Shadow
course.
the Hedgehog was the first step toward a perfect future. And during his time in Gerald's space laboratory, Shadow and Maria grew very close.
Until they were separated by a bullet. Turns out the governments of the world weren't too fond of all the evil alien business.
I like
they
how,
stormed the place,
as
captured
Death
Shadow,
Battle
and
went on,
killed Maria right in front
they
of
went
him. 50 years
into
later, Shadow
this
escaped
backstory
and decided
sort
to
of
take
stuff.
his revenge by just
Because
killing
Shadow
everyone.
didn't get
Until
such a
he remembered
detailed
Maria's
intro
last words were
versus
pretty much,
Shadow.
Don't be a dick. So he changed his mind.
That was back
Now,
when
on the side
they
of good,
just
Shadow
listed the
dedicated
fighting
himself to
stuff.
protecting the world from the forces of evil.
Turns out fighting the bad guys isn't too hard when you've got
Yeah, I
super
don't need to
strength,
pay too
super
hard
speed,
of
helped along
attention
by
to
some
these
awesome
two at the
rocket
beginning
shoes,
because
and
I'm
a
quite
bucket of
familiar with the
deadly chaos
characters.
powers.
By channeling the potentially unlimited power of the Chaos Emeralds, Shadow can enhance physical attacks, heal over time, and strike with powerful energy blasts. And with the power of Chaos Control, he can warp through space.
There's
at
Sonic
time,
Adventure.
slowing it down to a crawl, or with enough power, freezing it completely.
He's got so much power, he can only contain it all with 2 inhibitor rings around his wrists. Unless he gets all 7 Chaos Emeralds, which he can use to transform into a Super Saiyan Shadow. Super Shadow, yeah.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
Super Shadow, he is completely invulnerable, can move at the speed of light, and has
Is it
unlimited access to the
1000%
power
power
of the
increase
Chaos
you said last
Emeralds.
time?
Enough power to stop the space colony Ark's collision with Earth, and to teleport a giant comet the size of a city. Assuming this rock is half hollow and using the density of concrete as
Yeah,
minimum
I'm
base,
wondering
this
then
black comet
if
must
Super
weigh at
Shadow
least
might be what
915
gets
million
Mewtwo if
tons.
Shadow can win.
Even without his super form, Shadow is powerful
'Cause it does
enough
give
to
him a
wipe
lot
out
of power.
an entire alien fleet in one blast, fast enough to reach hypersonic speeds, and strong enough to play tug-of-war with a giant space monster who is so big he uses a planet a tenth the size of our moon as a chair. Naturally, when you've got this much power, you're probably
I forgot how
Shadow
ridiculous
is
the Sonic X
excessively
anime got after a
close.
while.
Also, he has a terrible memory.
This guy spent most of his life wondering who the hell he is. And even when he does remember,
Damn,
he
not
usually
here.
winds up losing his memories later anyway. To be fair, if I fell from outer space and all I lost were my memories, I'd consider it a really good day.
Yeah.
I mean, I lose them from just falling over at the bar.
That's probably not because of the
Ouch.
fall. Also, we can't forget that the Super Shadow form only lasts so long.
Yeah, that's
Then
something
again,
you
when
brought up
move
last
at light
time.
speed and have control over space and time, who cares about time limits?
Not usually a problem for the ultimate life form.
Many years ago, Professor Gerald Robotnik endowed me with the power of chaos control. A normal creature like yourself doesn't stand a chance against me.
All right, the combatants are
Here we
set.
go.
Let's end this debate once and for all.
It's
I'm very
time for
heavily
a
leaning
death
towards
battle!
Mewtwo, but Super Shadow could make anything happen. Ah, Skitty! Where's your husband? Wailord. Hey, I like how they've used Mewtwo's cave from the games. And there's an emerald in there, of course.
Get away!
Here we go.
You are not welcome here. Leave this place.
What's your problem, freak?
I know not its name, but it is black, red, and very annoying.
Ha! Fight! Hey, barrier. Yeah, so far it's going how I thought it would.
This'll stop you!
But that means
Another
Shadow's
gem?
got a period
What's he
of dominance
doing?
to go through.
Chaos!
I must know.
No, I forgot he can actually read minds. Okay, Super Shadow already.
Good try, monster, but you're done!
Watch.
Oh, hey, Mega Evolution. I was forgetting about that.
Not this time.
Control!
What happened?
Maria. Wait, where am I? Oh my god, I'm glowing! Why am I glowing?
That took a turn.
Sayonara.
Did he just say screw you? Yeah, I thought this wouldn't be much of a challenge.
When we started Death Battle, I don't think we ever expected to see someone
No,
die by spoon.
I don't know what that freeze
Shadow
was
may have
about,
had
unless
the
it was
advantage of pure
telekinesis.
Speed and power, but this time, Rain defeated Brawn.
Mewtwo got the rundown on all
Yeah.
Shadow's abilities simply by reading his mind, giving it the knowledge it needed to counter or avoid
Yeah, I
crazy
didn't quite get
powers
that
like
part.
Chaos Control.
Ultimately, there was nothing really stopping Mewtwo from just taking over Shadow's mind, and its impressive durability and healing power bought it enough
He is
time to
OP.
do so.
Pretty hard to win a fight when your opponent can make you forget what you're doing and who you are in an instant.
Shadow has been mind controlled before, and has always relied on outside help to recover. Even while Super Shadow was physically invulnerable, this form didn't protect his mind. Like that time he fell from space, and then the worst game ever happened.
Yeah,
The worst
Shadow
game ever.
will lose, sooner or later.
The winner is
Okay, I'll give you that one, Boomstick.
Next time on Death Battle.
I don't need your next time, fool. Okay. Yeah, so kind of glad that I called it for once, because I was wrong about Bowser, obviously, because I didn't know enough about Ganon. But it just seemed so obvious. That, yeah, of course, I then made sure to account for Super Shadow, but then I forgot to account for Mewtwo's Mega Evolution, which just ramps the OP up even more. So this was a foregone conclusion from the get-go, and I will be very surprised, actually, if there is anyone butthurt in the comments about Shadow losing. What am I saying? I won't be surprised. It will be there, and it will be funny. But yeah, well, you saw just from the demeanour of how the match began, with setting up a barrier and just blocking his blast like they were nothing more than a flick. That's close to Shadow's go-to attack. So if that's not working, it's going to take a lot more than what Shadow's got to reach the level where he can beat Mewtwo down and make him stay down. Yeah, this really gave good credit to Mewtwo as the strongest Pokemon. This was good. I like this. I like this a lot. It also helps that I'm a way bigger fan of Pokemon than I am of Sonic. So this result sits even better with me. I'm sure that there'll be people who think that Shadow should have won legitimately, and if you think that you know why, feel free to let me know. But yeah, until next time, I'll be seeing you.